Hey, if you're thinking about starting a salon and you're wrestling through whether you should do a booth rent model or maybe a salon suites salon model or more of a traditional employee stylist based salon model, and you're kind of wondering what are the differences in startup costs and ongoing operating costs and ultimately what's most profitable and maybe least risky for me. These are all great questions, and we have developed a salon financial projection template to help you answer those questions and work through those different financial scenarios. My name is Adam Huxema, and I'm the co-founder of Projection Hub, and we help entrepreneurs create financial projections for investors and lenders and just internal business planning. And so in this video, I'm going to be specifically walking you through our salon financial projection template, show you how to use it, and really show you how to use it to help make decisions on what's the right salon model for you. All right, so to get started on our input assumptions tab, the first thing you need to know is that every cell that's highlighted in blue is an assumption that you can change without breaking the model. And so what we've done here is we filled out some initial kind of default data, but you're going to have your own assumptions based on your specific business plan. But here you can put in a personal investment. How much money are you going to put in? Now, if you're trying to raise some money from a bank, you're probably they're probably going to expect that you put in some money yourself. And so we've assumed here $20,000. We have our fixed assets here, so we're assuming that you're going to be renting the salon, and you are going to be responsible for $50,000 worth of leasehold improvements to get it ready for opening. And $50,000 of equipment, $5,000 of furniture, and then $3,000 for your signage. Those are really your main startup costs. We are assuming here a $100,000 SBA loan that we'd be applying for. And you'll notice right down here, once you enter those assumptions in, you'll be able to see, okay, based on the projections that we have in, do we have enough cash? And so right down here it says starting cash is not sufficient. So here it says that we need $142,000, and that's including a $20,000 buffer that we think is just wise to have. But we only have $120,000. So I'm going to jump back up here, and let's just say that we also bring in an outside investor for $25,000 that will be invested in month 0. And now we've got enough. Starting cash is sufficient. So now I'm going to jump over to our input revenue tab. Now this input revenue tab, basically what you're seeing here is the ability to put in a person for each seat in the salon. So in this example right now, we're assuming there are just 7 seats in the salon. And maybe it's you and one other owner. Maybe that outside investor is a partner, is another owner. And so it's you and one other owner here. We've selected the type here as owner. And we're saying that you're starting right in month 1. And you're projecting to generate $3,000 worth of services per week. And I'll show you down here, we have built in this little calculator to help you kind of figure out what to expect and what's possible in terms of potential sales for a stylist. So you got the number of hours that you're working per day, how many days you're working per week, and then what are the different types of services you provide, and what's the breakdown of your customer base. What percentage of your customers just hire you for a simple haircut or a trim? We're saying 10%. We're saying 50% of your customers are coming to you for a cut and color, and so on. And then we've got the price points for each of those. And then this is important. How long does it take you to provide each service? So here we're saying 0.25 hours, so just 15 minutes for a simple haircut or trim. And we've got different times here. And so based on that, that's going to help you determine how many services you have time to actually provide in your 8-hour day and your 5-hour work week, ultimately to help you project we can do up to $3,004 in revenue based on these assumptions. So now you can come back up here, and once you fill out that calculator, based on your own plan and your own customer base and that sort of thing, you'd be able to put in what you expect your revenue to be. Now, let's say the other owner is just going to work part-time, and so they're just generating $1,000 per week in services. But, they put some money in, and so maybe they are going to, as an owner, they're planning to take $50,000 as an annual salary, and so are you. You're both going to take $50,000 as an annual salary. Some benefits there. And then we have the ability here to put in a weekly supplies expense that's paid by the salon. So if you're using product or supplies, you can assume that the salon would be responsible for providing that. Now we've got 2 more part-time employees that we're saying, and then 3 full-time employees. And they start on different months. So we're saying 1 part-time employee starts right on month 1, and 1 full-time employee starts on month 1. But then your next employees don't start actually until year 2, the beginning of year 2 or month 13. And then your final employee here starts at the beginning of year 3 and month 25. And these are just examples, but you can put in expected weekly service revenue from those employees, as well as an hourly pay rate for those employees. And so they could be salaried. If you wanted to make them salaried, you could do that. Or if you want to do hourly rate, you can do that. But you probably don't want to do both. Don't put an annual salary and a hourly rate there. And then there's also this ability to basically give the individual stylist a commission of some percentage. So if you want to say, okay, you're going to get your base pay of $15 an hour, but then you're also going to get to keep 25% of the services revenue that you bring in as a commission. Or maybe it's 10% in your salon. And, that's a negotiation. It's different in each salon, and maybe even with each stylist, depending on what stage they're at or how long they've been with you and that sort of thing. So you can enter in those assumptions. But once you have all those assumptions in, we're going to be able to project revenue based on those assumptions. And actually, let me jump back one more time. You can add, so if you have more stylists, you can add those stylists in these rows here. Now on our Input Other Expenses tab, you can see that we're able to add fixed expenses like advertising or accounting and cleaning costs, or variable expenses that are a percentage of revenue. So here we have credit card processing fees. We're saying that this is a percentage of total revenue. And so when you're doing a percentage, you want to put in 0.03 is equivalent to 3%. So by putting this in, we're assuming that you're going to be paying 3% in credit card fees, which is pretty standard. You're also going to have, what is your monthly insurance cost, as well as your monthly rent. And again, these are all going to vary based on your own situation. So you're going to want to put in your own assumptions as you do your research. And then we can put in any salaried position. So these would be non-stylist positions. So if you have a receptionist, and maybe the receptionist isn't starting until, it's warranted maybe in month 25. So that could be an example too. Now we can jump over to our at a glance table here and see our projected revenue, projected net income of just over $100,000 a year for year 1 based on all of those assumptions. Now that is with 2 owners that are also working and contributing revenue to the salon. So if you weren't doing $3,000 worth of weekly services and you were just the owner and relying on the other stylists to generate all the revenue, these numbers might look a lot different. And so keep that in mind. You can also see a table with use of startup funds, some different graphs and tables that you can provide to a potential investor or lender. And then you're going to get a 5-year projected income statement, 5-year projected cash flow, and 5-year projected balance sheet. And you'll also get a projected income statement or profit and loss, cash flow statement, and balance sheet by month for all 5 years as well. And so you'll be able to provide this to your potential lender or investor. If you have any questions about how to fill this out, and if you want to look at some different scenarios, you are able to come back to this input revenue tab. If you want to make some of these slots booth renters instead, you can do that, and you wouldn't be paying them by the hour, but they would be paying you rent. And so if you had a booth renter here, you would say, okay, they're going to pay me $500 a month in rent, and I'm not going to pay them at all. I can't pay them an hourly rate, and they're not going to earn any revenue share because they're a booth renter. They're getting it all. All of the revenue is really theirs, and they're just paying you rent. So you could even do a hybrid approach with this template, or you can make all of the seats booth renters or salon suite renters as well. And so you can play around with the different scenarios, see what works for you and what works for your salon. Again, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down in the comment section of the video below, and we'll follow up with you there, or reach out to us at support@projectionhub.com, and we'd be happy to help. Thanks.